o'clock, so I call this meeting to order. As far as roll call for tonight, we are missing Dr. Stridget. All of the board members are present. And I'm about to lead us in the invocation, but before I raise everybody up, we're going to do our pledge a little bit different tonight. The Prattville High School Junior ROTC are going to present the colors. As they present the colors, and once they're up front, the Prattville Intermediate School student-to-student group is going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, let's please stand. God, thank you for bringing us here tonight. Thank you for our great school system, our students. Thank you for our stakeholders, our parents, our teachers, administrators, that each day working together to provide a good, safe learning environment for all of our students. Please give us wisdom tonight as we make decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Oh, arch.
Board members, you've received the agenda for the meeting. May I get a motion to approve the agenda? Second. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your hand.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. April is the month of the military child, and we are honored to have our students be able to participate in our board meeting this month. Students, they all did a great job. If you don't mind, let's give them a big hand. I know they that's something no doubt to be proud of, and I hope you share the enthusiasm we do for our students. That's a great job, students. Great job. As part of our celebration of the month of the military child, numerous activities are occurring throughout the district. Schools are recognizing military families and students with several different activities. We are honored to have so many military families in our district. We appreciate their contributions to all of our students in our communities. In order to help our military families with difficulties that often occur with deployments, we are very fortunate to have two military district liaisons. I know they come to most of our board meetings. Don't see one right now. The one that haven't but we do want to thank Ms. Ganster and Mr. Rocket. They do a phenomenal job for our students, and they really are great partners as we try to help our children. Another one of the ways that we help our military students and families is with our strong partnership with the Military Child Education Coalition. We're fortunate to have Dr. Rachel Searles here tonight from the local chapter of the coalition. As many of you may recall, Dr. Searles retired from Attala County Schools and was a vital part of the district's past success. She has significantly assisted the district in obtaining Purple Star status for 8 of our schools, and she is a passionate advocate for our military families. This time, I'd like to ask Dr. Searles to come forward and tell us about the month of the military child. Welcome back to Attala County, Dr. Searles.
I was telling them to stand here. I don't want to, I hear prepared Leslie Poe's favorite spot is right here as well, so I'll keep it warm for you. I said we had a proclamation signing, a week or so ago at the Chamber of Commerce. And I said there that when I retired, I was able to kind of reinvent myself. I can't see you. I have to give you eye contact. That's my friend right there. But, you know, you can, when you retire, you get to do anything, kind of, sort of, and that's what I did. And what better way to go into retirement than to continue to work with military-connected children and their families? So that's what I chose to do. I first started doing that. I was the school liaison here for the district. I worked hand in hand with Robert and Catherine, who he mentioned, and I will tell you, on their behalf, they worked the air show this weekend, and I don't know if many of you got to go, but they're probably tired because they had a lot of events leading up to that. And so just working in this school district, I learned so much. I learned so much about military-connected children and their families. And then, lo and behold, my child decides to join the military. And I will tell you, it's a different kind of different when you put your child on that bus to go to basic training, especially your only child. I don't think it makes any difference, but for me, it was my only one and only, and he was gone for 7 months. And I know Miss Addison and a couple others had to endure me during that. But it just not, I've always been super patriotic. I think I was raised that way. You know, we, just in a family that instilled that in me. But just through this position, I learned that our military-connected students, children, are so resilient. They are so deserving of the recognition that we give them all year round, but particularly in April, because April has been designated as the month of the military child nationwide. And so thank you, Autauga County, for continuing to do what you're doing to recognize these students. As you know, we had, when I was here, we had about 10%, it's somewhere around in there, maybe 7 to 11, I don't know, percent of our students. A lot of them are connected to Maxwell Air Force Base with the Air University and Air War College, and also International Air War College. I was super excited to see that y'all are continuing on recognizing the various languages that we have. I know Ms. Walker was a part of that, that we just had at our YMCA, so that was incredible too. We had 32 languages when I was here. I think it's still around similar to that. And so you just don't think about Prattville, Alabama has 32 different languages in their school district, but because of the International Air War College, we did. So that was just always so fascinating to me. So I want to share a few facts with you guys, just from an educational standpoint, so you'll understand why, you know, just have a basis of knowing. If you don't forget, if you forget everything I've said, remember one fact. And I thought this was an exaggeration until I have been asking children for years this question. The average child who is connected to a military family is in between 6 to 9 different schools in their K-12 career. All right, 6 to 9. Mr. Woodford was with us last week, and the young lady was in 5th grade, and she's in her 5th different school in 5th grade. He saw it himself. Are there any military children now, adults or children in the room who can attest to that? How many have you had? 14? 14 different moves. And with your children, how many different, give or take?
They're blessed.
Okay.
Dad has moved more, so they get to stay in the same school.
Got it. Exactly.
Two
Okay.
schools in one school.
And let me point that out. So see, Dad moves, and then because it's, you know, just to make that decision because it's consistency with the school, but then that brings on a whole nother set of issues, right? And so that 6 to 9 moves, or 6 to 9 different schools, if you can think about that, to me that was just overwhelming. And honestly, it didn't really sink in until I kept asking children. And I've moved 5 times, and I've moved 6 times, and I've moved 11 times, and I've moved, you know, it just is so overwhelming. So when you think about that a child could potentially be in the 5th grade, and that's their 5th move, think about the inconsistencies in their education. Think about saying goodbye to their friends every year. Think about moving to a new neighborhood. Think about a different house, I grew up in the same house. I lived in the same house my whole life. So to me, that just, wrapping my brain around that was so difficult. But I want you guys to always keep that in mind when you're talking with some of our military-connected children. Also, I'm a real big proponent anyway, but now that my child is in the National Guard, let's think about those children, because they may not be living the military lifestyle of all those moves, but what if mom or dad all of a sudden gets deployed out of nowhere? You know, they just get those papers and they said, hey, you know, you're getting deployed. That to me, you know, and you can be deployed, you don't know where. My nephew is right now, he's deployed, and we don't know where he is, okay? So that could be so traumatic for a child. So think about all that when we're dealing with children. It's not anything extra that we're asking our teachers or our educators or our staff to do, other than just the awareness, understanding when we have that particular group of students that they may have the gaps in their learning. They may have mental health issues and emotional issues they're dealing with because of the moves. Try being, have you ever walked in somewhere new and you didn't feel, you know, if someone were to walk in right now, they would feel kind of out of place, right? They'd stand there like, oh God, I've just walked into this. That's how a new student feels every time they walk into a classroom or a new building. And it could happen in August, but what if you're the new kid in February? What if you're the new kid in April? And so it happens all the time. So just knowing those things is why we want to highlight our military connected children, because their parents or their guardians are serving, but they're serving too. All right, and what an awesome thing to be able to celebrate them, right? Because without their parents, without their sacrifice, and also the children's sacrifice, where would we be? We don't even want to talk about that, right? I also want to bring up one of the things we don't talk about a lot with our military connected children. We have over 2 million children who are under the age of 18 who are the caretaker for a veteran who may be injured. All right, so I'm gonna say that again. Over 2 million of our children under the age of 18 are handling caretakers of a veteran who may have suffered injuries during their service. So it could be injuries that you can see. Maybe they had, you know, some amputations, or they may have, you know, some other physical impairment that you can see. But it could also be post-traumatic brain injury, or traumatic brain injury or post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of those things, those unseen things that they're having to deal with. Imagine the stress that those children are going through. Imagine the mental health issues that those children are going through. So again, just awareness of these things. So we have designated the color purple for our military connected children. And I know on April 15th, we're going to encourage everybody in Autauga County Schools to wear purple. All right, so that's why you saw the group here. Those are our student leaders who welcome in new students, not just military students. They welcome in all new students as they come into the schools. But on April 15th, we want to encourage everybody to wear purple, just in celebration of our military connected children. And then all throughout that week, and I think throughout the month, you guys are doing some special things. So why purple? Because the thought is, when you put together all of the colors of the military, the blues, the greens, the reds, when you mix those together, you get purple. And so that would just be an ideal why purple. And so that, we encourage you guys to do that as well. So I want to thank you guys. I think you can tell I get enthusiastic about it. You are such a good head nodder. You know how you find somebody in the group that just, you know, they're just pulling you in, right? You are my guy. So I thank you for that affirmation. But you can tell I'm super excited about it because it's such an easy thing to get excited about. I also want to thank our teachers for what they do every day. This is just one more thing that we're asking you to be aware of. You go above and beyond every day. So to all the teachers and administrators out there, thank you, because you have a thankless job sometimes. My 30 years is done, but I'm not through. Continuing to celebrate our educators and public education in general, and in particular, our military connected children. So tonight, military connected children, we salute you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Searles. It's always good to see you, and we appreciate the passion that you always have had and continue to have. And wish you nothing but the best with your journey with the organization. Always good to have you come back to the talk. Appreciate it. All right. Last year, Marbury High School served as a pilot for the High Ed Educational Platform. I've asked Mr. Juan Walker to present to the board the results of the pilot program from Marbury High School and to explain how this program may be able to help all students across the district. Mr. Walker, at this time, please come forward to begin the presentation.
Good evening. I had plans to talk about high ed, but we're going to talk military tonight. I'm the youngest of 5, and all of my siblings went to the military. I was the only one that did not, so I can identify with a lot of the things you talked about. So High Ed is hyper-individualized education design. It's a system, it's a web-based platform that helps students transition into careers. And it's a seamless transition, and what it does, it's a plug-in into PowerSchool. So the data from PowerSchool automatically comes over to the platform. Because that's always one of the first concerns people will have. Who would input all this data? So no one inputs data, it automatically transitions to the platform. And what it does, when students initially log in for the student dashboard, they have to choose a track. Am I going to go to college when I graduate? Am I going to the military when I graduate? Am I going directly to the workforce, or am I undecided? So it allows us to help those students transition into whatever that plan might be. Now, once they choose that track, it gives them tasks that they have to go through, and it starts in the 9th grade. The system starts tracking in the 9th grade. And this year, for the first time in Montgomery Public Schools, we've started tracking in the 6th grade. So now it's 6 through 12. So with this platform, the software does a number of things for students and schools. A lot of different stakeholders have dashboards. So that looks, one of the components is the academic component. The academic component, what it does, it tracks graduation requirements. And from there, students can now see where they are as far as graduation and finishing all of their different core courses. It also tracks college admissions. It color codes that for students. If they have met different benchmarks for colleges, it will shade in green and let them know that they have met those benchmarks. Also, minimum academic scholarship opportunities. It shows those students if they have that information. So it does that for all colleges and universities in the state of Alabama. Now, also the 2-year college system. They can access every 2-year college system and the different scholarships that those 2-year college systems provide. NCAA eligibility. It tracks NCAA eligibility. It color codes that for students for Division I and Division II. So now let's talk about, we're excited about the software, what it does, but it's more about the process. And what I'm going to do is talk about the process. So with Marbury High School this year, we have a process that is the length of the school year. And what that means is we have what we call military campaigns. Military campaigns where we bring in all 6 branches into the school, and they present to juniors and seniors, and we invite parents to come to these campaigns as well. During these campaigns, it's a lot like Shark Tank. The military, they all have 5 minutes to present their branch and 2 minutes to answer questions. Afterwards, the students go around and mingle with families. So after that, what we do is, on the platform, we send out what we call campaigns. It goes out to the students from each branch, and they respond with emojis if they're interested or not. We rate the data, and now we have intentional meetings to transition them into whatever that desire might be. So we do that with military, and we just completed our workforce. Workforce, we have 5 partners locally that have partnered with us through this process. We're very blessed to have a great Chamber of Commerce to give us the right partners so we can make sure that this process is seamless. So right now, our partners that we have partnered with in Prattville area is Prattville Baptist Health. And what you're going to see is it's a lot of different career clusters that give our students an opportunity to transition in different areas. Buffalo Rock, James Hardy, we have Watauga County Sheriff, and we have Prattville Fire and Rescue. They came in, they did the same thing to the population of our seniors. They were able to do a 5-minute pitch, 2 minutes to answer questions, and then those students went out and mingled. Where we are now in that process, students have responded on the dashboard and with emojis who they may be interested in. These partners are direct hire opportunity for students that want to go directly into the workforce. Once they respond, they will now take a tour to see what happens beyond the walls of these different companies. And then after that, they'll start the application. The companies will then come to the school and have interviews. And after that, we will have a signing day, just like we would do any normal student athlete, and have that celebration. Any questions? No question, it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I want to add to it is, obviously, I was principal when we started this, and the component that also is such a big help to your local schools is, it's another way for your counselors to keep track of, are the students on track to graduate, are they on track for clearinghouse? It's just an easy way, but my thing is, we never want to add something just to say that we're adding something. If it makes the job easier and more efficient, then that's something we should look at. I point blank asked the two counselors at Marvin the other day, and I know Dr. Holloway's here, he also went to the job fair and was very enthusiastic about how good everything went, or how it all went. But when I asked the two counselors the other day, they were emphatic, yes, this is something that makes my job easier, this is something that our kids are enjoying, and they're looking to expand it past just seniors next year as well. So, the feedback from the pilot program has been overwhelmingly positive. All right. At this time, I would like for Dr. Ferris, principal at Prattville High School, to come forward as we recognize a tremendous accomplishment by a Prattville High School student. Dr. Ferris.
All right, thank you for having us here tonight. It's my pleasure to once again recognize another Prattville High School student for a great accomplishment. Caden Walker is an exceptional student at Prattville High School. He's been an active member of the Prattville High School or Prattville Band program since 7th grade, while serving as the drum major in his junior and senior year. He's also a member of National Beta Club, Fellowship of Christian Students, Prattville High School Television Production, and he's participated in various organizations in the community, such as Alabama Boys State, Youth Leadership of Talbot County, Skills USA, and YMCA Leaders Club. So what brings us here tonight is my pleasure to congratulate Caden Walker as the State of Alabama Rhetorical Contest winner, sponsored by the American Legion Rhetorical Scholarship Program. Caden won first place at the division level, then won first place in the region. Then this led him to competing at the state, where he came in first place. He will now go on to compete in this competition in Michigan, where he will represent Alabama against delegates from across the United States. The national competition is scheduled to take place at Hillsdale College in Michigan on May 17th through 19th. And he's already earned approximately $3,500 in scholarships through this process, and several more $1,000 are now on the line as he moves to compete at the national level. Caden, Prattville High School is very proud of your accomplishment and how you lead by example. Congratulations.
And I bet you know where you're going to college too, right?
Where you want the picture at?
Right here in the center.
In the center?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move.
Congratulations.
Good.
I'm good, but hang tight.
Alright, friends, 1, 2, 3. Insurance shot, 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, y'all.
Congratulations again, Kevin. I know, we're excited. We're very proud. Mom, Dad, thank you. All right, board members, last item on this portion, with relation to the summer learning opportunities, the memo in your packets is to inform you that summer school plans are in motion for grades 6 to 12. As you can see, we will offer credit recovery and credit advancement. Curriculum and instruction is also in the planning stages for summer learning for our K-5 students who qualify according to the Alabama Literacy Act and the Alabama Numeracy Act. Are there any questions before we move to the approval of the consent agenda? All right. Before my recommendation for approval of the consent agenda, I would like to give some information on a few items that are listed. Item number 2 is a list of technology and transportation items that are no longer in working order and need to be disposed. Item number 3 is a list of all athletic and field trips that need board approval. Number 4 is an adjustment to the in-district transfer request policy that was presented at the last board meeting. Number 5 is seeking approval to purchase Dell servers and a storage vault. ESSER funds are being used to purchase the equipment. This purchase will replace old equipment that is no longer under warranty. Item number 6 is seeking approval for the bid from Dominguez Cleaning Service to strip and wax floors in various schools across the district. Schools that choose to allow their custodians to complete the work will still be allowed to do so. The bid is only for the schools that do not complete the work internally. Item number 7 is seeking approval for the bid from IBML to complete the digitization of all CUNY folders across the district. This will allow us to have digital records moving forward, and it will alleviate the requirement for storing paper records in fireproof rooms at each location. This will be paid from the Alabama Technology Fund. Those of you that have been in this system know that we have those folders all over creation, so we're trying to streamline that.
That's great.
Some of us were former principals when the school burned, or not principal, former school when the school, former students in the former school, so
Yes.
when it burned. All right, item number 8 is an agreement to allow the Gathering Eagles to use 2 buses in cooperation with Maxwell Air Force Base. Gathering Eagles is a nonprofit group affiliated with the Maxwell Air Force Base. Item number 9 is a proposed job description for a new position. The position being proposed is coordinator of technology. Among other duties, this person will supervise all aspects of the technology department, oversee all facets of Power School, be responsible for our centralized registration department, and be expected to help transform our district in all areas of technological innovation and integration. Item number 10 is a list of supplemental contracts to help obtaining at schools and to assist with summer school and summer learning programs. Item number 11 is a quote to install new network equipment at the district support facilities. This project will also be paid for with ESSER funds. And the last item, board members, as you are aware, and as we have been explaining in our state of schools discussions, shortly after being hired as superintendent, I contracted with a neutral third party to analyze our financials and to recommend what courses of action needed to take place for the future of our district. Rice Advisory, that's the group that we went with, stated that Autauga County Board of Education is, quote, currently running on a very tight budget, meaning existing revenues are just enough to cover expenses. In order to increase the operating efficiency of the system, either revenues need to be generated or expenses need to be cut. A growth in revenues would include an increase in ad valorem taxes, and a cut in expenses might include, but not be limited to, a decrease in existing services offered, layoffs, and possibly the closing of schools, end quote. In light of this analysis, item number 12 is a request to our local representatives to seek approval for the citizens of Autauga County to be able to vote on a county-wide constitutional amendment for a 7 mil increase in ad valorem tax. As I have stated numerous times, I have serious concerns about our financial stability as a district once we are not able to count on the ESSER funds to offset our costs. Furthermore, several current and future facility projects are being funded with different sources of state money. There's no guarantee that the state funding will be available as we move forward. So in light of this uncertainty, I've been trying to solve as many facility issues as possible with ESSER funds and state funds while we have those funds available. Again, we are currently in pretty good shape right now with our general fund, but we are very concerned with how we look long-term beginning with the 25-26 school year once these additional sources of revenue that we will not have are no longer available. I know that was a lot of information, board members. Are there any questions as it relates to anything on the consent agenda? I make a recommendation for approval of the consent agenda.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. May I get a motion to approve? A second? Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Thank you, board members. I recommend approval of the personnel report as presented.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. May I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion? All right, all in favor, raise your hand.
All right, I recommend approval of employee action as presented.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. May I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
No, it's me. All right, CSFO evaluation, and I'll say I always like an evaluation that is good, easy, and positive. And Ms. Poe has done an amazing job since taking over. And basically, I could go through each category, but Samaz, she's exceeded expectation on every single category since she came to us. And those of us that know the school system, we were kind of in disarray before she came in. We just weren't up to date on our financials, and not only did she jump in and get it caught up with it, but any questions we've asked, and I know personally she's had to break things down in a very elementary tone for me to understand, but then at the same time being honest with what our outlooks are and telling us things sometimes we didn't want to hear, but it was the truth, and I think that's indicative of a great CSFO. So again, Ms. Poe, excellent job all the way around, and very, very happy with the job performance that you've done.
Thank you.
I will concur with that, Mr. Coach. Unfortunately, I don't do the formal evaluation, but I will second Mr. Holland's opinion there. It is a true honor to work with you, and I appreciate you answering my 492,000 questions as it relates to our funding and any other issues, so I appreciate you. All right, board members, for the superintendent report, just a few things here. First, we want to give a big congratulations to our federal programs coordinator, Ms. Kristen Dial Williams. There she is. Mr. Williams, if you don't mind, stand up real quick. Ms. Williams was recently presented with a state leadership award at the National Association of Federal Education Program Administrators. She was one of only 2 from Alabama recognized for playing a significant role in the support and promotion of activities and goals of the state affiliate organization. Ms. Williams, we're proud of you. Appreciate you. Next thing, board members, the state school meetings have went very well. I really enjoyed visiting Toggle and Billingsley over the last few weeks. This Thursday at 6 o'clock, we will be visiting with Marbury High School for the Pine Level Marbury community. We will then finish our community meetings on Tuesday, April 16th at 6 p.m. for all of the Prattville schools. We will be making an adjustment from the previously advertised Prattville schedule. Originally, we were going to split it based on the feedback of all the other meetings. We're going to go ahead and combine everybody on one meeting. I'll kind of get all the school data instead of splitting it up. That'll allow a little more time for questions and answers that meeting. So we'll just kind of do that. And also, I'll need to confirm or deny. People have reached out and said, hey, I have multiple kids, some in the elementary, some in the high school, it'd be easier. And one of those may have been my wife. So, but yes, we're going to do it that way to help our parents. The original thought was we would have a little more time to dive into stuff, but again, we don't want to inconvenience our parents. So we're going to open that up next Tuesday. As a reminder, we want to make sure parents know that the virtual learning applications for next school year, they open on April 8th, and all families that would like to attend school at a Toggle County, that portal is open. The in-district enrollment application, in-district transfer application will open for all Toggle County students on April the 15th. We've really cautioned parents to understand that yes, this is a new thing, and we're trying our very best to make sure it goes well, but spots are going to be limited based on the availability at schools. Some schools have more seating capacity than others, but we've been very vocal on that, and that's one of the things we're really camping out at our community meetings to make sure everybody understands that yes, we're putting this policy in place, but it's going to look a little different based on capacity at each building. Also want to encourage our families to continue completing their returning student registration forms. We're off to a really good start with that. These are the same forms that we have to get completed at the start of every year. It's our goal to get our families to complete those now, as opposed to sitting around the dinner table trying to get all the beginning of the year paperwork. That's been a really good hit with our families so far. Again, I hope you see with the agenda and all the things we're doing, we are trying to modernize a little bit in how our operations work, and anything we can do to help our families have a better experience, that's what we want to do.
I will say that it was very easy. It took me about 2 minutes, and my kids were all combined, and it said, "Would you like to repeat?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So whoever put all that together, kudos. It was very great.
A lot of people have had a lot of input on that. Great team effort all the way around.
Absolutely.
So I hope that's the feeling across the district.
Great.
it's really good. And as we move forward, we know this first year, we all know the first year with the centralized registration, all that, everybody we talk to with the systems that go this route, they all say the first year is the hardest. It takes time to get your people to understand how you're gonna do it. So we expect some hiccups, but, I think it's a step in the right direction. All right, lastly, with regards to the Prattville football stadium situation, I met with the representatives from Wetumpka again this past week. Board members, they were requesting that, we attain some additional insurance. Our attorneys have been meeting with their attorneys for the last, I don't know, probably month. We're still working through that. We are also in discussions with Alabama State University. Those discussions are not as far along as the Wetumpka discussions are, but we're trying to give all options that we might could have. Hopefully we'll reach an agreement with one of the two parties very soon. But again, I cannot enter into an agreement that places the district or our families in a legally liable situation. So the agreements have, the negotiations have went very well on both ends, but now we're to the point where we gotta make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, make sure we're doing it the right way. So that's where we're at with it. We will continue to work this situation, and quite frankly, I hope to resolve it soon. I know there's a lot of concern in the community, and obviously we want our teams to have a place to play as the Stanley Jensen Stadium is being renovated. So we're working on that as well. So, are there any questions or?
There being no further business, may I get a motion to adjourn? A second.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Meeting adjourned.